Okay, Albuquerque gardening again. Little update. I've been neglecting showing this, not because things are going well, but because there's some issues. Got a lot of these leaves dying off at the base of the plant. This was a nutrient deficiency mixed with a bunch of rain, so everything just washed out, and then I didn't get to it quick enough on correcting it, so this is kind of what we're dealt with. The nutrient deficiencies also caused the 2 pumpkins that I had pollinated to abort, so quick little update on this, I guess. There's no more hydro plant, so what I'm doing here is just, taking advantage of the fact that the secondaries want to root. So, hydro bucket with some nutrients. This was the first spot that we had a pumpkin. This was the first pollination that I intended to take off the plant, and I did. Just because it was off of the first secondary, so it wouldn't have made a big fruit anyways. This is one that was pollinated actually just a couple hours ago, so today. 4 lobes, a couple bees in there. I'm not even worrying about how it's going to get cross-pollinated. I just want to get a pumpkin at this point. Vine development of secondaries pretty much stopped with the nutrient deficiency. So with that, I fed flowering nutrients, vegetative nutrients, more fish emulsion, and that. Plant tone breaks down over time, 5-3-3, so I gave the whole thing something for now, something for later, and it's an 8-pound bag, and over the last 2 weeks I've probably added 2.5 of these bags to the whole area. So just trying to get things back in order the way they should be. I did mark that little stick right there is to mark the last time that I was hoping to see some more growth, and it's grown far past that, probably 7-8 inches or so past that. So we're back to vine growth. All good there. Take you around side. This bad boy was pollinated about a week ago. Still a little small. Actually, it was probably closer to Thursday or Wednesday last week, so about 5 or 6 days. Then this one was pollinated 2 or 3 days ago. So we're starting to get some more stuff happening. That's good. Nutrients are breaking down. I'm always finding bugs. We got a wasp sitting on our pumpkin for some reason. Been doing the pest treatments with 7 spray, and back to vine bearing now that things are growing again. So over here, this was a pumpkin plant. It died, I think, because we also ran out of nutrients because of this damn tree. There's a Chinese elm tree, and I keep finding little shoots sprouting up above the soil. So I dig down a little and find just roots headed literally directly into the pumpkin bed. So this explains why I've been having so much issues with these nutrients staying in the beds, because there's no way this pumpkin plant is eating all those nutrients that quickly. Turns out it's not. We've got big old green foliage here on a plant that hasn't been getting watered or fed at all because it sends out roots to steal from me. So that's kind of the development right now. There's no more hydro plant either. That one died. It was only saved by a bunch of rain and cloud cover, keeping everything nice and cool. So that's okay. It's expected. And I guess once we get some more growth going on, I'll show some more updates. But until then, I'm just trying to get some more green growth and hopefully bury more vines, and these pumpkins will take off some more. I'll have just enough time to make it a full 90 days before like Halloween. So that's the new goal, is just get a big porch pumpkin. Completely abandon any ideas of doing competitions. Yeah, because it'll be far too late for that by that point. So let's sign off, Bo. Albuquerque gardening, but no Bo. It's been a season so far. I haven't really done a lot of updates because it's not going well with the pumpkins. So yeah, no matter my efforts, I keep losing leaves. I keep losing nitrogen, among other things, obviously. You know, even with all the amending, this isn't over fertilization, this isn't underwatering. I've lost flowers already. This is a little over a week old, and it's getting some spots like it's about to abort. That one doesn't look great either, but yeah, it's just kind of a sign. Just more yellowing along all this other new smaller growth. The leaves aren't really getting big. It's just been a year because these are the roots that I'm pulling out of my soil beds. This one was pulled from leading to here. So this elm tree, these elm trees are just stealing everything they can. I know this is an issue because every season I end up pulling out plants at the end of the season and finding just roots all through the beds. And yeah, they've been stealing my food, the water from the plants. That's why that is so large and lush. This one's also probably doing a good amount of thievery. So I think we got to call this quits. Far too late in the season to start another plant. My efforts to save this plant have not gone well. I've had temporary success for like a week and a half, and then it just keeps going downhill. The vine growth is completely stopped. There's no more side shoots coming out. No matter how much I water, how much I feed. And you know, this is middle of July already, so if I were to get a pumpkin, I'd have to correct all these issues to get my plant growing large again. And then I might have, you know, 45-50 days worth of season left by that point. So with all these things stacked up, I think we're gonna have to pull the plant. It's unfortunate, all this time and effort, all the loading compost and buying compost, the attention spent, the time spent. Fucking way she goes. It's just the way of the road, right, boys? Might be able to pull off something different next year. If I plan this out properly, I'm thinking of replacing, digging all this soil up and getting a series of, making a series of grow bags that are not directly sitting on top of soil. I'm gonna have some plastic barriers. And so maybe next year we'll have a better result than we have this year. It's never fun when you have to admit defeat. I think nobody wants to do that, but that's just where we're at. Yeah, it would have been nice to grow a good pumpkin this year. I know I've shown the pumpkin plant that I gave my mom. That one's doing great. They're having no issues with that, even though they're growing much closer to a tree. It's just, these are Chinese elm trees, and the roots are invasive. They send out these big tap roots, new shoots pop up, and it's just not a good scene. So yeah, I'll have to change up some tactics for next year. You know, the stuff over here is doing pretty well. I think it's just a distance from the source of these roots. I mean, this apple tree right here isn't doing so hot. I think this is kind of a good example of this one still being relatively close to these trees. And by the way, all this damage is from June bugs. This is crazy. Everything sounds so brittle. We've got all of 2 apples, but they're perfect. No holes in them, no worms, no nothing. All my kettle corn, my caramel corn style popcorn, everything else. Might as well show something that is growing well since my plant isn't. So later on today, once it gets a little cooler out here, I'm gonna pull the plug on that pumpkin. So RIP to the 1454 angle, RIP to the 1282 Fenico that was in the hydroponic and in the compost. The only survivor of my efforts this year, like I said, are the pumpkin plant I gave my mom, and I'm not sure which of those 2 plants it was. I guess we'll know a little bit more once it gets to be harvest time and the pumpkin changes color. So I guess I'll just keep you guys updated on that one, on their pumpkin and not mine. Here's to a better season next year. Cheers.